Got it.
Okay.
What is going on, fellas? We are back for a little short check-in before we got kickoff of tonight's Ravens at Chargers game. Should be a fun one. 50.5 point over under. Sharps, I believe it was roughly, I have to look at it right now. I think it was like 20% of the money on the over right now. Let me take a look at the updated numbers.
20%?
Let me take a look. So I've been adjusting I don't know if you've noticed this in the matchups that matter. I've been adjusting the way that I present that information because I look at the discrepancy between public money versus sharp money now instead of just the total number, because the total number includes public money, which is not really that predictive because public people are stupid and they always want to bet the over.
I figured that because when I was going through your when I throw the clips up or the little graphics up in my shorts, for example, with like you do the matchups that matter, like the Ravens -3 implied at everything. Then you said the key matchups and stuff. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So like, I noticed that when I was like putting them in that you did it over plus minus rather than
basically what I'm doing now is that like the over under in this game is 51 points. The total number of bets on the over is 53%. The total number of cash that is on the over is 72%, which means that a large portion of the money is on the over relative to the amount of people betting on the over. So the over is plus 19% at that point, is how I would record that. Because sometimes it's like 94% of the bets are on the over and only 46% of the money is on the over. And it's like, okay, well, obviously the public's just dumb and doesn't know, how to do this. The sharps are all hammering the under. So that's why I kind of changed that up there.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Sorry. I saw this message. I saw these tweets from Josh Norris on the timeline. Pretty interesting. So somebody tweets out, I think there's a chance Henry goes off again tonight, like 150 plus yards. They look good in EPA mainly because they've only allowed 3 rushing touchdowns, but the Chargers are bottom 10 in yards per carry allowed to running backs.
I don't actually think that's correct.
I mean, that's a tweet because Josh Norris quote tweeted it.
They're only allowing 81 rushing yards per game.
Yeah.
So maybe teams are just choosing not to run against them, but I have noticed because when I went through, you had Henry's lower in rushing yards.
Yeah.
So I was debating it. So I went through and I was looking through. I was like, okay, they're only averaging 81 rushing yards allowed. Like, who have they played? I was curious. I was like, has anybody done well against them? That's like a good running back, because Derrick Henry obviously is better than the average running back. So I looked through and they really haven't played a whole lot of good running backs. And the last good running back that they played was James Conner, who went for over 100 yards against them. So that's why I didn't bet Derrick Henry lower rushing yards, because I think they just haven't really played that great of running backs.
I don't disagree on that aspect. However, they are weaker against the pass in general, A. And B, we're talking about a 51-point game environment. Like, the Chargers are going to be able to score the ball against the Baltimore Ravens this week.
They will, but that's precisely why I took. We also have a site question here.
The receiving yards, I like that.
That's why I took the receiving yardage on Derrick Henry, because my thought process behind this game is that it's in Los Angeles, and again, maybe they don't really have a good home field advantage, so it's possible there's a lot of Ravens fans there. My thought process is if the Baltimore Ravens get down early, they might abandon the run, because that's
what I'm thinking too.
Against the run, which is why I liked the receiving yards instead of the rushing yards. But obviously, we know with Derrick Henry, all it takes is one carry and he busts off a 50-yard touchdown or something like that.
What's really interesting about this matchup is both these teams are going to have a really good feeling on what the either are going to try to do schematically. And I'm not just doing that because of the connection between Harbaugh and Harbaugh, obviously John versus Jim, but more so a lot of the stuff that they were teaching at Michigan, obviously Jesse Minter coming from Michigan, now the DC over with the LA Chargers. A lot of that was founded based off Mike Macdonald. Where was Mike Macdonald in his last stop? The Baltimore Ravens. A lot of the same stuff that they do.
And Greg Roman's the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. So
there's
Jim
so
Harbaugh
many connections between these teams.
Going to be very connected from that perspective. That's what makes me think this game is probably not going to be like a 51-point over/under game.
I don't think it's going to go
hit the under.
I think it's more so not like, oh yeah, this is going to be like a 38-35 game. I more so think, okay, is it going to be like 27-20, 24?
If this hits the over,
17?
It's a sweat.
Yeah.
It barely hits. In the fourth quarter.
like the implied total, I think, is 27-24. That would be the exact score line. Like it's funny that it's actually priced so well is pretty much what I'm trying
I
to
almost, by the way, when I was talking about the Bucks and Giants game, I almost nailed the exact score. I said it was going to be 28-9. Remember?
Jesus. Yeah.
It was
You're right.
30-7.
Hey, you knew it was going to be a wonky ass score. I'll tell you what, though, if you got me to predict the Cowboys game, I wouldn't have predicted 34-26 Dallas. I'll tell you.
No, I would not have predicted that as well.
That ticked me off, bro.
Teams touchdowns.
Yeah, we had a special teams touchdown. We had a couple picks on Jaden Daniels in the game. I'm still so pissed off about that Terry McLaurin play. Broken fucking coverage, 86-yard catch and run. The week I'm playing Zach in the Flock League, who has Terry McLaurin, and it comes 3 minutes off of Joe Mixon, gets a Nico Collins touchdown called back because of a stupid fucking pre-snap penalty. I was tilting.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me. I mean, you've told me about it 4 times now. So
yeah, sorry. The stream is the vent spot, apparently. Apologies, guys. You'll hear some yaps sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. Someone asked if we had any locks tonight. I can go through my my pick'ems here. Justin Herbert, 258 passing yards. I mean, the Ravens are 32nd in passing yards allowed. They allow over 300 passing yards a game. 6 of the last 7 quarterbacks to play them have gone over this total. The only one that didn't was Russell Wilson, and we all know that was an AFC North kind of slugfest waiting to happen. Derrick Henry, I talked about the receiving yards there. I don't know if you just heard Maria sneeze in the background.
I heard that.
Yeah. Derrick Henry's 4.5 receiving yards. I like the higher because basically, like I just said, the Chargers are a pretty good run defense. So it's possible that Derrick Henry is not that effective on the ground and they need to like dial up screen passes. And if you look back at the games that, Derrick Henry had 1 catch for 26 yards or whatever, it was typically against opponents that scored quite a bit on the other side of the ball, like the Buccaneers game or the Chiefs games, or like, you know what I mean? Like the types of game environments that get him involved as a receiver are usually like high scoring games. And then I like Lamar Jackson to go higher than his total yardage as well. And the reason for that is honestly just because I think the Chargers are going to put up points on the other side of the ball, and Lamar Jackson's going to have to be Lamar Jackson. I mean, you're on the road against a team that's going to put up points against your defense, presumably. So if Lamar wants to win this game, he's probably going to have to put up points. And he's also beyond this total in 6 of his last 7. The only one that he wasn't was against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North slugfest last week.
Yeah, and you guys would have seen my short that I put out earlier, but for those of you that do want the recap, let me just put it in the background. Honestly, I'm just going to click onto it here from Spicy.
Okay, well, in the meantime, if people want to hit the new customer free pick, they can get that. If you guys are new customers over on Underdog, use promo code FSE when you sign up. You'll also get this Justin Herbert free square to add into this entry. There's going to be a ton of boosts and promos and, so on and so forth all week with American Thanksgiving. There's a ton of games on Thursday. And then on Friday as well. And of course, like we said, you can tail our picks using code FSE for up to 1,000 in bonus cash. And then Danny's going to load his picks in there as well.
Yeah. If my mouse wasn't just deciding to act up, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, dude, you fuck, for the love of God. I went to Danny's place to help I was helping you set your lights up and shit. And I was like, dog, your mouse is unusable. Like,
it's so bad.
Danny, buy a new fucking mouse, man.
Dude, this like near 5-year-old mouse is just fucking.
This guy, like, this is his mouse. He moves it forward and it like goes backward. Like, it's the fucking worst thing ever. Like, I'm surprised it doesn't take you 46 hours to make a video.
Maybe that's why I was so ass back in the day when I'd actually try to play Valorant. No, I'm joking. My MNF kickoff. Why did I fucking read? You know what I did. Never mind.
Just read the fucking picks.
I read what I loaded it in as. Derrick Henry lower than 85.5 rushing yards, like we kind of said.
Trap.
This is a trap, but he has gone under than this in 3 of his last 4 games. This is a very tough rush matchup. Could be a trap. I mean, I always tend to go 1 for 3 on these things, so would not be shocked if I went down.
No, Will Dissly is the copium pick right there. Keep going though.
Yeah. Will Dissly higher than 8.25 fantasy points. Since their bye week, he's had 1 game out of the last, I believe, 6 with less than 5 targets. They are implied for a high total. They are at home. Justin Herbert's playing MVP football. And then, of course, you tail that next to Justin Herbert. Only 3 occasions this year that a quarterback has failed to complete over 21 passes against the Baltimore Ravens this year. I believe it was actually in week 1 against Mahomes. It was the week that they boat raced the Bills against Josh Allen, and it was against Bo Nix really early in his NFL career. In the last 7 games, I believe every single quarterback that's gone against the Ravens has gone higher than 21.5. So put those together, $60, 3 picks. hopefully we can get back in the win column.
That I could. Danny goes 1 for 3 on these things every time. So the Herbert completions is the one that's gonna hit, and Disley, he has him on his flock league team, so that's why he's taking the higher on his fantasy points. So don't pick that one. That one's going lower. And Derrick Henry rushing yards. Like I said, I wanted to be
it's that a trap, guy. Dude.
I wanted to be the guy to say take the lower on Derrick Henry's rushing yards in this.
You want to hear the most ironic part of this?
Trap. Don't do it.
You want to hear the most ironic part of this?
What?
I have Herbert and Disley, and Zach has Henry tonight.
Danny, you.
That's not why I did it. I swear. But it's a coincidence.
You're fucking full of shit, dude.
Speaking of fucking Masons in here, waiver wire has been nothing.
You know what's depressing is that this is the best waiver week in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's still gonna be such a pain.
It is. Also, just to put out quick, for the record on my picks really quick, I own these players literally nowhere. So I mean, I have Lamar in the listener redraft league, but I've already won my matchup, so I don't really care.
You keep tooting your own horn. We get it.
I'm not perfect. I've missed a lot of picks as well this year, but like, as far as I'm concerned, Danny, where you've been at with your picks lately, you are not averse to criticism.
Brother, when I've had such a fucking streak in this last month, it makes me sick. Yeah, speaking of Devon Vele, one of the only like semi-intriguing waiver wire options, guess who dropped going into the slate in the flock league this week? It just so happened to be me.
I feel like you've dropped literally every good waiver edition.
I know, it always happens, bro. Fuck.
Zay Flowers, lower receiving yards. Yeah, Zay is if Zay is having a good first half, he's gonna go nuclear that game. And if he's not doing anything in the first half, he won't do anything for the rest of the game. I tend to think that Flowers is probably gonna have a good week this week. And you know why I'm not coping on that? Because I face him, so I know he's going to have a good week.
I also face him, so hopefully he does.
Yeah.
So in my home league, I told you this earlier, Corey, but for those of you that didn't watch this morning's stream, I basically need Zay Flowers and Justice Hill to combine for less than 16 PPR points in my home league because McCaffrey decided to not show up this week for me. So
I'm surprised we didn't see Zay Flowers and Justice Hill lowers in your underdog entry.
All right.
So Sawyer had a question here on the site we should probably get to because we're doing that. We can pop on over to Underdog and talk about some other ones that we maybe like as well. Tyrone Tracy and Tyreek Hill for AJ Brown. I think that Tyreek and AJ are close enough. I'm actually like higher relative to you on AJ Brown and probably lower relative to you on Tyreek Hill, but I think I still take the Tracy and Hill side here.
Honestly, I think we have them probably the exact same ranking the rest of the season.
Do you have Tracy RB20 though?
No. Okay, I thought you were talking about Tyreek. I think
generally the players in this deal would be I like the AJ player the most of these guys because I feel like I'm usually just higher on you than AJ Brown all the time.
Yeah, I'm assuming the three differences you have at running back are probably Bucky, Dobbins, and Jones.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly the three differences I have.
Those are the three I have 18 to 20. So that makes
and actually Dobbins might not be one of them because I moved Dobbins down a little bit when Gus Edwards was starting to get more involved. I don't think it's Connor either. Let me take a look.
It can't be Swift.
It's
Chuba?
Oh no, it is Dobbins. It is Dobbins.
Yeah, okay, I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mason, I'm gonna have to make some reactive content after I figure out the context of my matchup. Again, very, very slim chance I actually end up coming back against Zach. I believe my current win equity is literally 10%. I basically need what would that be? I need Herbert and Disley to outscore Henry by 35. So I'm probably gonna lose. And it is what it is. At least as long as we put up a high score this week. Like if I put up 130 points, knowing the context that I'm probably not gonna put up 130, but let's say I put up 120 points, knowing the context that Breece and Chase Brown were on bye. I feel pretty good about that. Also, dude, for not winning my matchup this week, the Flock League, other than maybe Thomas beating Mason for my actual purpose specifically, that's the only thing that I really would have changed. But everything else, man, I'm not going to go through it because there's a video tomorrow.
Yeah. So technically I haven't lost yet. I already basically said in all my clips, yeah, congrats to Sal. He beat me. I'm screwed.
What do you need?
Technically, if Zay Flowers and Ladd McConkey have like no points, then I would win.
Oh yeah, dude, you're projected to win. You're projected to lose by 26, but you're currently up by 2. That's comedy.
So technically, I could still win. Like if Zay Flowers goes out there and drops a donut, and Ladd McConkey leaves with a hamstring injury or a shoulder injury or something. Like I mean, it's technically possible that I could still win, but it is definitely not happening. But anyways, Yeah, we would roll with the Tracy and Hill side of that one, Sawyer, and then we can get back to some other stuff.
I was gonna say in a start 7, it's more reasonable if you wanted to consolidate. But with that being said, like they're too close for me, Tyreek and AJ Brown. Like I would do that for Nico very easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. And yes, Tony, we will have our weekly rankings earlier this week because of all the Thursday games. Typically, I like to do. I do mine like
they'll be prepared for you.
Wednesdays I think, anyways. But
real quick, I know what he's talking about. I think he's saying he wants the rankings videos out now. Unfortunately for us, we need more information in terms of the inactives, everything like that going into the weekend to actually do it like that. But what we could do, I mean. What can we do? Because there is a bunch of games going Thursday.
I'm gonna do the matchups that matter video on Wednesday instead of on Thursday. So that obviously will take care of some of it. Like you'll get a lot of insight into like who's a good play and how to set your lineups before the games kick off. And our weekly rankings themselves will be up on the site and into the weekly rankings manifesto before Wednesday. But as far as our tier lists, we can't like that's just too early in the week for us to do that, honestly.
Not enough information for us to work off of. We don't know, for example, in terms of the injury front, we don't know exactly what's going on.
I think Mason, I'm pretty sure Mason does his tier list like really early in the week, or maybe he does 2 a week or something like that.
He doesn't talk about injuries though.
Yeah. Which is fine. I prefer to do it one time and have all the information. That's why I think it's most useful on Saturdays. Because like I know we're all sickos and we want to set our lineups. Like obviously this week doesn't count because there's like way more games on earlier on. But normally it's like I don't really think there's much of a purpose to do a tier list during Wednesday morning or something like that. This week obviously it would have more of a purpose that way. But we'll be live before the Thursday games too, so we'll have some questions to answer.
I almost started tweaking because I thought that I forgot to set my fantasy hockey lineup this week because last week on the Monday, right going into the live stream, I completely forgot to set my lineup and I ended up losing by like 13 points. And if I had set my lineup on that Monday, I would have won the matchup. So I almost just had a little.
That's why I hate fantasy hockey. You have to set your lineup like every day.
I lost by 13 points and I had like 38 points on my bench last Monday. So now I dropped to 5-1 in this league.
It's a tough scene.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I think we can let's rip through some Underdog stuff. I wouldn't mind just checking out what's all changed. I'm gonna pull up the site right here. Share this tab instead. Okay, so I do want to go through and see if anything's changed. So I had Justin Herbert at 259.5 passing yards. His total has actually jumped to 261.5. Most I think DraftKings and FanDuel and some other sports books did have it up at this high point before, which was part of my rationale for also taking it. That it was a little higher. And Lamar's jumped by about a yard as well. I noticed Odds Jam or whatever there's a lot of juice on Lamar Jackson higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. So I think that one's definitely interesting. Like obviously Spicy isn't here. If you want to send him the link, Danny, maybe he can join in time. I don't know if he's available or not, but maybe we could build out another entry if he's able to join us. Obviously we're on Ontario, so he builds out our entries for us where he is in Texas. But I like Lamar to go over 1.5 passing attempts. I also don't mind, 1.5 passing touchdowns. I also don't mind Lamar's 30.5 passing attempts as well. He's been over this total in about half of his games this year. And when you look at which games it was mainly like the games that were high scoring against good opponents.
Yeah. Makes sense.
If there's anything else that you like here, we can discuss.
Let's keep going through. So,
I like 6.5 targets for Flowers too. I think Flowers could have more targets than that.
What's the QJ touchdown? I like 0.5 there especially if it gets juice.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see it. Yeah, Spicy might be able to see it on his side because he's in an eligible state right now. But there's probably juice on it. Like there's probably like a 2x or something like that.
Yeah, because I notice he sends some stuff sometimes that I don't even see on my own end.
We can't see it in Ontario, but so actually, for what it's worth, I believe the summit for Toronto, Ontario DFS was today. So I wonder if there's any news that's come out about Ontario DFS coming back because we need it in the worst way.
Yeah, no, we do. You know what I can't wait for, bro?
What?
I can't wait for playoff best ball.
Oh, dude! Imagine if we got it back in time for playoff best ball. It won't happen, but there's legislation of all this bullshit that they'd have to go through.
We'll take a business trip to Buffalo. We'll be good.
If it's back in time for BBM next year, I would be happy as a clam. So.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I don't mind Rashad Bateman. Somebody mentioned it in the chat too. I like Rashad Bateman as well.
I don't actually mind him just first quarter receiving yards even too. Yeah, I don't mind him just catch a pass on the first drive. I took Mark Andrews' first quarter receiving yards was set at 0.5 on DraftKings. So I took that. I was like 0.5. He's just got to catch a touchdown or a first down or a catch in the first quarter. I was like, I'll take that for Mark Andrews. He's on the field quite a bit. You know what this game has the makings of too? I was off on my read last time. This game has the makings of a Justice Hill, Isaiah Likely showdown for the Ravens.
Let's hope not.
It does have the makings of an Isaiah Likely game.
Though. If you want to put it in there, be my guest, because that way you can't accuse me of being biased.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Isaiah Likely 25.5. If you look at his Isaiah Likely's route participation, it actually really spiked up last week, and it wouldn't shock me if they deploy him at a higher clip going forward. Danny's Will Dissly Copium. I'm not really touching that with a 10-foot pole. Line. You know what? I don't mind the lower on his longest reception. I can't imagine Will Dissly is gonna be likely to
get no. Zach, let me have my copium after that Terry McLaurin, Nico Collins 3-minute stretch that resulted in like a 30-point fantasy flip.
Yeah. Imagine what a sick, twisted fuck you'd have to be to bet this.
Do it.
J.K. Scott, 46.3 average yards per punt.
Is that like
doing that?
That has to be net, right? That's like after the return?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the lower's free, right?
Yeah, to take the lower because we got the boy John Harbaugh coaching up the special teams, bro. He's going to get those returners going.
Jalen Reagor to not have a catch also seems pretty free as well.
Yeah, he's pretty urine.
Yeah, I know. I saw some people hyping up Caruso and stuff. Were hyping up like
take the Gus Edwards. Take the Gus. Oh no, you can't even take the Gus Edwards lower. It's like the revenge game.
Oh no, bro. If any, like Gus Edwards was this close to making my entry at the higher.
Really?
100%, dude. He's getting like 10 carries a game, bro. Like 24.5 receiving or rushing yards for a guy who gets like 8 to 10 carries is like free cash
against the Ravens.
He gets 9 carries. All he has to do is average like 2.5 yards a carry to get it.
That's a good point. You should be all over Will Dissly then.
No, Will Dissly lowers all day.
Just like
Nick you should be thanking me right now because when I tell you something stupid and you're coping, it ends up working out for you. So
Nick Westbrook-Akine, stand up, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't like Andrews is a little sketchy here, but I like 2.5 first quarter receiving yards. I really don't mind that for Mark Andrews. Could be a tight end game. This one, if I was to build out another entry and get a little gutty with it, maybe I would flex this. And if you guys don't know what flex entries are, you can basically only get 3 correct. You still win, what is that, 1.25x your money or whatever. But if you get all 4 correct, then you win slightly less than if you did a standard entry where you get 85.5 for that entry. But if I was building out another one, I would maybe include some of these picks in them because I don't mind Lamar to throw some passing touchdowns. I also don't mind Likely to catch some passes, and Edwards in the revenge game. I like him to carry the ball quite a bit, and then Andrews maybe to get involved early on in the game. Also, I see B. Harris is in the chat. He actually just sent me a trade in the Bush League Dynasty Best Ball League. I just noticed that he sent me it. Let me live react to it here for you, Brian.
I gotta check the lads to lead how my team did this week. I didn't even see.
So Brian sent me a trade. He wants my 2025 first. Keep in mind my record right now is I actually lost this week. That's insane. My record right now is 9-2, but I may have lost this week. Actually, might have still some players going tonight. I still have QJ and Rashad Bateman to play, but they would have to get roughly 30 points above what I got there.
Speaking of QJ Rashad Bateman, bro, our Devi degeneracy. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, how do I guarantee a win from James tonight? I was like thinking, okay, like what player playing tonight that I could trade for? You're not going to trade me Lab McConkey because that's too expensive. B, you would actually prefer I lose because I'm in a playoff seating right now. So I'm like, okay, what are like the fringe chargers like Josh Palmer's and shit like that?
What league is this? Sorry,
the Devi degeneracy because it's a best ball. So like if I technically traded for a player tonight, like even if it's a scrap player for like a scrap cost, like Josh Palmer,
I don't care if you win. I'm in first place.
No, I know, but you have Lad, and like that would actually cost me something. I'm saying like any like cheap options, like Will Dissly types, like Josh.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because it could work into my lineup tonight. I search up every fucking Chargers ancillary receiver, and they are all on Riley Bush's team, all of them. Quentin Johnson, Will Dissly, and freaking Josh Palmer. I'm like, okay, and I'm competing for a playoff spot with this guy.
Why don't you go after Dobbins or Edwards?
I could do that. Let me see who has them.
But anyways, this is the trade that Brian sent me.
Let's hear. Yeah, sorry, I cut you
he
off.
wanted a 2025 first for me. We see you, Spicy. We'll build this out in a second.
Yeah.
2025 first, which is I'm in first place right now. Jalen Coker, Cedric Tillman, and Roshan Johnson. So I mean, equatable value. We're talking like a 1 and like maybe a 2 and maybe another 2 or a 3, 2 threes maybe, because those guys are not like super. Like, what's Coker worth? A third rounder. Roshan probably worth a third rounder. Tillman probably worth a second rounder.
Yeah,
and then a late first. He'd be giving me Isaiah Pacheco, George Kittle, MVS Noah Brown against best ball. So maybe they are factors for me, but honestly, I don't really love.
I'd probably
that
just
deal.
hold.
Yeah, this is also a league in which I have Sam Laporta, Jake Ferguson, Pat Freiermuth, and somebody else at tight end, and it's a best ball, so I don't have to choose when to start those guys, and I feel pretty comfortable with Laporta, Ferguson, and Freiermuth, like one of those guys making my lineup every single week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, Kittle would be a slight upgrade, but like not by much.
Not discernible enough to the point where you'd forfeit other stuff.
Not to mention, like, I don't think Pacheco ever makes my lineup, realistically. These are my running backs in this league. Devon Achane, Chuba Hubbard, Kenneth Walker, Rashad White, Tyrone Tracy, Kyron Williams. Like, my running backs are insane in this league. I don't even need Pacheco. I have like 7 or 8 good running backs. And again, because it's best ball, like Hubbard and Tracy and stuff, they're never on my bench because they're always just going to, if Kyron has a bad game, they just fire in there or whatever. But, yeah. Okay. Spicy is in the back seat with us. We can maybe actually build out a legitimate entry here. Do we want to do how many picks do we want to do here? Just a 3 stack, or do we want to do a 2 stack? Or
you want to do a 5-part flex?
A 5 player or a 5 entry flex? Yeah, we could do a 5 entry flex.
Yeah, because we usually do 3 or 4 straight up, so maybe we do a flex this time.
Sure. Yeah, let's do. Right. Okay, we'll go one by one. I'll let you pick out the first one. We'll just go one by one.
You got the first one.
Okay, I think of the ones that I put in here, the one I feel most confident in is Gus Edwards higher than 24.5 rushing yards.
So do you want to do like
yes, Spicy? We can let you pick one as well. He said.
Do we want to do
each, and then Spicy picks one?
Do we want to do every pick as in like, oh, this is the best thing that we think can happen, or more so like, oh, we're gonna mix some value into there? Because like QJ touchdown could be like a nice value spot.
You have no restrictions on your picks. Okay. I'm gonna just pick what I want to pick.
Okay, fair enough. Go to the QJ touchdown. I want to see what it's at. Also, Spicy's.
You can keep it as 24.5, by the way, Spicy, on Gus Edwards. That's fine.
Go to QJ touchdown. He's at 1.41.
That is not worth it, in my opinion.
I don't think it's worth it either. I wanted a little bit more juice. I mean, it's a 0.94, but I really like the Herbert passing touchdowns. Yeah, I'll go with the Herbert passing touchdowns.
Yeah, you don't have to put the Lamar one in. I might pick a different one there.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to go Lamar passing touchdowns. As much as I do like that one, I think Derrick Henry makes me nervous about that one because, you can just rush in.
And what if Lamar rushes for a touchdown too?
Yeah, I think, Spicy, I actually like Lamar's passing attempts more.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to go with the Lamar one.
Or rushing attempts. 8.5 is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I debated that one as well, but he is actually like only gone over that total in like 4 games this year. 8.5.
That's fair.
It was actually 7.5 earlier today, and it was still one that I was hesitating on. Now it's at 8.5. So,
I like. Okay, so you got 2 picks, I got 1, and then I'll put 1 on, and then Spicy gets 1. Okay. So go down. Rashad Bateman. I'm thinking about Bateman. You go to Bateman. What's he at? 3.5 receptions.
The score is not terrible.
Yeah, I don't mind the touchdown call. Give me the 1.71 there. I think that's a good call.
I like the receptions actually a little better now that I think about it. But it's your pick.
I'll go with the touchdown. Go with the touchdown. Because I think it could be like a 3 catch for 71 yard and tugger day.
Yeah, it definitely could. I just think juice on 3.5 receptions for a guy who's like literally always on the field is pretty nice. Because if it was just 3.5 receptions, 50-50, that would have been fine. But the fact that you're actually getting some juice on it seemed interesting to me.
Plus 2, Bateman is Spicy Hot's boy, so we had to get him on here.
Spicy Hot's fiending the J.K. Scott pick. No, I'm just kidding.
He's thinking about Tux.
Tux field goal made. That's not bad.
He's thinking
extra
about
point make.
Dicker.
It's not terrible too. Cameron Dicker, the kicker.
Dude, you got to be a real sicko if you bet fucking Tylan Wallace 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns at 8.98.
That is insane. That is like if Herbo throws 2 touchdowns. Okay, yeah. If Herbo throws 2 touchdowns, I guess he's trying to pick a touchdown score, maybe.
That's a good point.
One more touchdown. Oh, I see what you mean. Extra points made. Okay, look at Spicy correlating the picks.
Okay, I respect it. Hopefully they don't go for 2. Remove Herbert to unlock pick. Oh, these guys they know what's up. They're onto it.
They're not letting us correlate it.
No, they're onto it.
That's brutal.
To be fair, everybody would do that.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense to do that.
Oh, the boy.
Hey, it's your pick, Spicy.
Hey, your call, Spice.
I would take the lower on his reception.
This league.
He's gonna torch. Yeah. He's gonna torch the entry.
Let's go.
Okay. So we'll do a flex here. If we get 4 of these correct, what's that? Almost a 4x of our money, and then a 5 correct would be 14.5x our money. Obviously we could go for gold and do all 5 correct for 29x our money, but that seems a bit like a torch.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do the flex. Please and thank you. Big flex. Do you think Lamar gets me over the top this week? Gets me 30.
You want to go 34? McConkey there? You could. I mean, first of all, if Herbert is throwing a touchdown,
go McConkey then. Yeah, go nuts.
You could do someone to catch a touchdown as well.
Yeah, I like
that.
It's
doing this thing again.
It's doing the cheeky. If you take the Herbert touchdown, you can't take somebody
else. What else do they have on McConkey other than like the more picks? Like what else is there?
Target?
Like 7.5 targets to me is almost better than taking his yardage.
Spicy, do as your heart desires. I believe in you.
Yeah, you do as your heart desires, though. Yeah, I mean he's been a little up and down with the targets for sure.
According to my wide receiver rankings, no.
Yeah, I would probably take McConkey slightly. You're gonna throw McConkey first touchdown on there.
Ladder dis. Your call, bro. Your call.
I think Disley's a fucking trap, man. I think Disley's a total trap.
Don't let him influence you, Spicy. Do as your heart desires. The heart tells all.
Well, we got to lock this in like 3 minutes here. So
no, I know I'm trolling. Also, speaking of today,
boys are cooking in the lab right now.
Sounds good. Spicy, hit the confirm when you are ready. Not when we're ready, when you're ready. There we go.
All right. Well, if you guys want to ride this one, we do have it as a flex entry. So only 4 of 5 of these would have to happen for us to win, 4x our original cash or whatever. But if all 5 hit, obviously you get a 144. I think this is a nice option that Underdog has because, if you guys are parlay sickos or whatever, you've all lost. How many parlays bet by one leg? How many times have you lost a parlay by one leg? Like
if you're like me and it's a 3-parter, sometimes you lose by 2 legs though.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you were better at this, then you'd probably only lose by 1 leg most of the time.
All right, asshole.
You could also, for what it's worth, add in the Justin Herbert free pick and make this a lot easier if you guys were new customers over on Underdog. FSC, of course, you guys know the drill. But yeah, this one should be fun, man. This is gonna be fun to track.
Also, Bush, were you able to play spoiler this week in the home league?
No, I got destroyed.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Like, I can't remember who destroyed me. Let me take a look.
Dylan says he needs Bowski to win.
Yeah, I got Nico Collins and Terry McLaurin.
Oh, not the Terry.
And
did he have Daniels
Ricky Pearsall dropped a 0 in my lineup.
You started him?
David, I didn't have a choice. I had Higgins and Drake London on bye. David Njoku. Yeah, I know my teams are not down bad enough. I needed to have those guys on bye. David Njoku only had 3.9 points on Thursday as well, and Jonathan Taylor dropped 2 points. So JSN and Jalen Waddle were the only players that really did anything for my team.
Sorry,
I still have Hubbard and Dobbins to play tonight, technically, but I'm definitely not going to win.
Sorry, how much did JT outscore Brees this week by?
2 points.
No, I'm trolling too because I don't know if Zach's still in here. He actually offered me JT for Brees going into this week, and he's like, "It makes your life easier to beat me with like a prayer hands." And I'm like, "I don't want JT. It's all good."
Yeah, JT is just maybe not that great. Also, I'm calculating. I would need 56. I actually technically could still win. I would need 56.6 points out of J.K. Dobbins and Justin Herbert tonight for me to actually win.
Herbert
It's like
getting that
not
on his own,
totally
bro.
impossible, but like we need like a screen pass 95-yard touchdown kind of thing.
Wait, so we're both cheering for Howitzer Herbert tonight?
No, I don't care. I already am out.
Come
in this
on,
league.
just say you are.
What I'm actually cheering for is in Wiserhood. I'm in first, and if I win this week, the Scans and one of the other guys are playing next week, so they're going to. One of them is going to lose. So if I win this week and one of them loses next week, which is obviously going to happen because they play each other, then I secure a bye. But to win this week, I am currently up exactly 14 points. Exactly. It's half PPR. There's no bonuses. So it's a pretty bog standard type of league format. My opponent has the king in half PPR. I need 14. I need less than 14 from the king tonight for me to. And if I was Danny, I would hopium my way and take a lower Derrick Henry rushing yards in my underdog pick, but I'm not going to do that because I don't believe that's actually going to happen.
Okay, I didn't take it because I'm playing against them. I took it because of the process. You know
Danny,
that.
I'm doing you a favor right now. If I talk enough shit on your pick'em entry, it will hit.
I appreciate that, bro, to be honest. Also, dude, give me fucking Nico Collins in the listener league. It's not like I have enough in that league already.
What?
Sorry, I just went to the FSE listener league dyno, saw that we were playing each other, and then saw you had Nico Collins, and I'm just like,
bro, I don't know if you know this about my team, but like it's actually going to be good next year.
No, I know.
Like, so the reason I have no points for is because I do not have a tight end and I have no running backs, but I have the picks to be able to overcome that. And my receiver core is really good. Like I have Nico Collins, Zay Flowers, Romo Dunze, Jaden Reed. I also have like good depth at the receiver position. Like I have Cedric Tillman, A.D. Mitchell, Deontay Johnson, Khalil Shakir, Christian Kirk on my IR. Like, I actually have like a pretty decent wide receiver core. The only problem is like Ben Sinnott is my only tight end right now. And I have like Jalen Wright and Roshan and Tank Bigsby and Ray Davis as my running backs.
We may end up being the perfect trade partners because if you took a look at what running backs I had, Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Kyron Williams, and Breece Hall. So,
yeah, I don't think I'm going to trade for a running back. I'll probably just draft running backs in the rookie class.
You could do that as well. You could. How do I put trades up for review? So the best way to do it here, can we send him the link here, Corey?
Yeah, I'll drop the link in the chat. So basically, all you have to do is the link, the description of all of our videos says ask a question or get a team reviewed, and then that'll bring you to the screen basically where you can submit a team for review, or you can ask us a start sit question or ask us a trade question. And that will pop up for you, but I'll drop the link in the chat if you do want to do that. I mean, there's nobody in front of you right now for questions getting answered. We've like the game is actually like pretty much started, but if you did have a trade that you want us to review, we obviously could do that for you.
Send it over for sure.
Has the game started yet? Let me take a look.
Yeah.
The game has started. So we shall sign off of here. Appreciate you guys for joining our yaps, pick'em stuff. But yeah, should be a fun game. Hopefully we get a lot of points in this one. Hopefully you guys get what you need from your fantasy matchups. Danny is going to use his Will Dissly cope, and hopefully Derrick Henry has less than 14 fantasy points. What is that?
With a lot of, he's not expected to make an immediate decision, and then you just go in here.
Daniel Jones not expected to make an immediate decision is quite literally the definition of who asked. Like, who asked if he wasn't ready to make a decision? Like, please let me know who's interested in Daniel Jones. But anyways, appreciate you guys for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for more crappy waiver editions.
Take it easy, boys.